Welcome back to TYT Sports. Francis here. I am back from my brief trip for my birthday weekend. Thanks to everyone for the birthday messages in the comments. I really appreciated it. I did not appreciate some of the ages that some of you guys were throwing around. Do I look 30? Come on, the wrinkles haven't shown yet. They will come in the future. But talking about football, of course, is it too early or is it ever too early to discuss potential transfer moves? Now, January will probably be upon us quicker than most think. So the January transfer window is always fun to talk about. There's plenty of transfers who have, people did not get their move in the summer, so might be looking to go. But we want to touch on some of the hottest transfer prospects. And I'm joined here by Cristiano, who is from 90min. He is a contributor for them, and they're a great site. Make sure to check out that site, 90min.com. We're going to be working with them a little bit to discuss some of these topics. So, Chris, how are you? Good to have you on the show.
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Doing very well. So, as you can tell, both of us have accents, both of us foreigners. Get all your comments and all your jokes in. Probably most of them will be about my leather jacket, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and we will touch on the first prospect. So, why don't you tell me first off the bat, who is someone that you think is likely but also a hot prospect to move in the January transfer window?
I think Arsenal. Arsenal are obviously desperate to sign a striker.
Yeah.
Theo Walcott's their main striker at the moment. That's barely top four potential. Never mind. Never mind if you're going for the title.
Yes.
So Alexandre Lacazette from Lyon they've been linked with him for ages and ages. He's not happy in France. He signed a 1-year extension to his contract in the summer, but he's had a slow start to the season. There's always especially with everyone knows Arsenal have got money. It's just a matter of them actually getting around to spending it. I think Wenger could go big in the summer.
Yeah, I think that it's something that Arsenal has always needed and just never really seemed to go for the full push to spend the big money on a sole striker who's going to play that number 9 role, because they'll go between Giroud, who'll score now and again. Theo Walcott seems to be their starting striker, and luckily for them, Alexis Sanchez is coming up huge with goals at the moment. So, but many Arsenal fans will live in the present. I don't want to hate on them too much, but they'll simply say, "Oh, we're scoring goals at the moment." But then when it comes to that latter point of the season, when the goals dry up, that's when you need a star striker in there. That's when you need someone to bang in the goal. So I do agree. Sticking with France, it seems like unhappiness is following through some other players who are playing their trade in France. Argentinian Lavezzi, apparently not as happy as he once was at PSG. And I could see this definitely coming, because with Di Maria arriving, even though he's not exactly fitting in as easy as many people would have imagined, Lavezzi never really was the first name on the team sheet all the time at PSG. So there has been rumours that Lavezzi might be making a transfer in January. I don't know how much I'm on board with this one, but what's your thoughts on this? Because Lavezzi always kind of came second string to the main man of Zlatan and would come in whenever maybe Lucas was out. But he's still a great player and can still definitely do his work maybe in England or even in Spain.
Yeah, he's getting on a bit now. He's, 30?
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces linking him with Barcelona in the last couple of days, which, they need someone to fill in for Messi while he's injured, but I'm not sure that's the direction to go. He's definitely one of those players who could do a job for one of the top 4 teams, if not as their main superstar, then the kind of second string's a bit harsh, but
yeah. But I see where you're coming from. He's
the man to support your kind of
yeah.
Wayne Rooney if he was actually scoring goals. Diego Costa, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he reminds me a little bit of the Argentinian James Milner. I don't know if he's going to take that as an insult, but it's like
that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, it is, but he's a more of a utility man, I think, who can be used in wide areas and be very technically gifted at times. But I just don't think that he is, as you mentioned, going to be that star player. But talking about Barcelona, they do have that void to fill, because Lionel Messi, of course, out injured, but Neymar seems to be carrying a lot of the weight and doing that very well at the moment. But I think someone like Lavezzi could do a job out there. But also, sticking with Barcelona, there is rumours that the Guardian have ran that they may be back in for Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool. And now that is a transfer that I could see, one, just crucifying Liverpool. The fans would be devastated if that happened, because Coutinho is easily their most talented player in my opinion. And I think that his style of football could fit in very well at Barcelona. I don't know how much they may need him. He's always a player that you can add, but especially they're going to have the ability to use Arda Turan now in January after their transfer ban's lifted, so he'll be ready to go. So if they add someone like Coutinho, what do you think that could bring to the team of Barcelona? Is this just kind of bullying the rest and adding talent that you don't even need?
Yeah, they definitely don't need him.
Yeah,
I don't think that's ever stopped them before.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
they didn't need Louis. Well, he didn't think they needed Luis Suarez, but it certainly, added another dimension to the team. He's one of those who could come in. He'll play a bit part role for a season or so, learn the system, develop. He could be absolutely phenomenal for them, and Liverpool would just be in pieces. I mean,
Oh,
they've looked bad. They've looked bad enough going forward this season already.
absolutely, I agree with that. I mean, it's just one of those things that I think if Liverpool fans would have their hope rejuvenated with Jurgen Klopp, this would just tear them apart to see such a talented player. It would be Suarez all over again, literally, except this point it would be halfway through the season. But as a last one I want to touch on, which I think it has to be a must, or at least it has to be a top of the list for Chelsea going into the January transfer window. Stones. Now, I've been continually impressed with this lad throughout the season. I think even in games where Everton have been beaten easily, such as the game against Manchester City at the start of the season, I still thought he was a standout. Now that to me speaks volumes about the player that he is, and also raises questions about whether he can fit into Everton, because when you're a centre defender and your team are getting beaten maybe by 2 or 3 goals and you still stand out as one of the best players in the park, you're clearly a misfit in that team. And I think that as much as Everton fans will hang my head for this, I think that he has to develop his game. He has to move further. I mean, Chelsea, I don't know whether will be the perfect fit. Everton will quickly come to his defence and say, why would he go to Chelsea at the moment? They're a team that's in turmoil. Well, that's exactly why, because someone like Stones will waltz into that team. He will start, and he could be a crucial factor in changing their season around.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, John Stones is better than Everton.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I've got I know a lot of Everton fans. They'll think it's a bit harsh, perhaps, but they're a high mid-table team at the moment. John Stones is a top 4 player easily, and Chelsea are absolutely desperate for a defender who doesn't have, you know, sticks instead of legs like John Terry. I mean, the man can't run.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary Cahill's, he's not quite a liability, but he's getting there. And then Kurt Zuma isn't good enough quite. He's certainly not as good as Stones yet. So it's I mean, he'd absolutely walk into the team. Whether Everton will let him go, that's the question, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it posed the question over the transfer window whether people would think that someone like Chelsea could just buy and sell whoever they wanted. But it seems that Everton were stubborn and didn't want to let Stones go. But I mean, everyone has a price at this point in their career, especially when you're a mid-level team. I'm speaking from example. When you're a team like Celtic and even teams like Southampton can come in and handpick your players. I understand easily how much certain players, even though loyalty does play a big factor in it, players are always looking to expand. Players are always looking to play at the highest level. And Stones will obviously see the Chelsea Premier League winning team, not so much the Chelsea team that's struggling at the moment. Or maybe he will, and he'll take that as inspiration to help in the rejuvenation of Chelsea maybe into the second half of the season. But thank you so much, Chris, for joining us on. We'll wrap up this clip. We'll actually have another clip coming up soon, a very good talking point. Some will say controversial about Manchester City, so make sure to stay tuned for that and check out 90min.com. Chris will be on there contributing for them, and as always, subscribe to TYT Sport.